Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to throw a twist into this thing. All right? Because we know it's not an American flag, we know that it has a gold eagle and the gold fringe, and under Army regulations, that shows that this is a military flag, and it shows that we are under martial law because we are in a state of emergency. All right, what has been possibility put to me, and we need to go back in and actually pull the measurement on that flag. Now, that David Wayne Miller, in one of his documents, he was sitting here saying that that flag is an inch short in dimension, in length, and in width. And that gold fringe makes up the length of what it's supposed to be under Title IV for regulations, and under Army regulations 840-10. All right, if that flag is an inch short and they are flying the gold eagle and the gold fringe, where this now comes back into is under Roman law and the Vatican. What they're doing is they're impersonating what looks like a military flag in this courtroom, and actually it is a Roman law Vatican flag that they have actually brought in, which now makes this a foreign state issue.
Right. Now, Rod, the reason that they have it as Roman is because it's Roman civil law.
That's right.
Okay, let me explain that further for you. In your Black's Law book, EJ accidentally found it. It's Roman law. It will also have Roman Catholic Church. Roman law takes you back to Justinian, back to 400 BC, but Roman law transfers into civil law, which transfers into municipal law. And if it's the Vatican, by the way, the Vatican put the cupola on the White House, so the White House is under the rule of the Vatican. But if it's Vatican and they're doing this in our courts, that is international terrorism, folks. This is not a silly thing. This is very serious.
Yes, it is. So now what we're coming back in and we're working on a document is that we're now coming in and making the issue in these courts. If it's not a constitutional court and you're not a military court and you're flying this flag, which is foreign because it does not fit the legal definitions of length and measurements.
To be an American flag.
Yeah, under Title IV and under the Army regulations, they can't come back in and say, oh, well, we just got a shorter flag. No, because there's regulations that flag has to be a certain dimension.
And that's black ink on white paper, Rod.
Yes, it is.
And Title IV is very explicit detail of the exact details of the flag and the rules and regulations of flying the flag.
So this now comes into impersonation of trying to pass off what we would assume was a legitimate flag, but because of it is a smaller diameter, it's a forgery, it's a counterfeit, and if they're bringing it in under Roman law, and from what Jeanette has brought up in the past, and we brought it up, and EJ's brought it up, that these people are under a Jesuit's oath under the Vatican, that means they are forcing fraudulent confessions off of the people in order to cover their own sins and buy their way into heaven. And this is something that we was not supposed to be aware of, and when I brought this up to several other people in the last couple of days, I was asked, how did you know about this? I said, because I've got a research team that's sending me information. I am deciphering it, and I'm coming up with the conclusion to this. And they said, what you have discovered, you was never supposed to know, and you're not supposed to be putting it out. I said, well, we are putting it out. We are exposing it because now, under the Jesuits' oath, under Roman law, there is a canon's rule under the Vatican that these people have to follow a strict guideline, and they've stepped out of that canon's rule under Roman law, and now we're exposing it on them.
All right, Rod.
Roman law has the authority to take property, and that's verbatim in the Black's Law book under Roman law.
All right, now, Rod and Jeanette, I looked up Roman law, and it's interesting, and it's a fairly good definition, but it also says, this is in Black's, it also says see civil law. So let me just read you the civil law. It's 2 paragraphs. This is Black's 5th edition. This may not be in the 8th or the 9th edition. Civil law, that body of law which every particular nation, commonwealth, or city has established peculiarly for itself, more properly called municipal law, to distinguish it from the law of nature and from international law. Laws concerned with civil or private rights and remedies as contrasted with criminal laws. 2nd paragraph. The system of jurisprudence held and administered in the Roman Empire, particularly as set forth in the compilation of Justinian and his successors, comprising the Institutes, Code, Digest, and Novels, and collectively denominated the Corpus Juris Civilis, as distinguished from the common law of England and the canon law. The civil law, in parentheses civil code, is followed in Louisiana. And then now it says see code civil. But anyway, that's pretty telling.
Yeah, in Louisiana, you'll find that there are parishes, and in Louisiana, you will find that that's the headquarters for the Rothschilds. And also down in Louisiana, you know, the Mardi Gras. Pay real close attention to the Mardi Gras, folks. What are they celebrating? Skeletons? Okay, all of that. Okay, that comes back to the skull and bones. Pay very close attention to your secret societies. The Jesuits is very, very, very bad. And by the way, they're using the Knights of Columbus as their military army force.
Well, no wonder that